this isn't even like a big deal in the comedy world anymore, but I do think it's kind of an interesting thing. I was watching Kevin Hart today he was being interviewed by Michael Strahan, I believe it was. And they were asking him about the Oscar controversy. And if anybody that doesn't know, he was asked to host the Oscars, and then they dug up some old, I guess what they deemed to be homophobic tweets of his, and a couple jokes from some old stand-up comedy specials from like 10 years ago. And, the fucking SJW online mobs started to attack him. Yes, Mr. Bisping.
Thank you, sir. Let me just ask you before we go forward, because I'm interrupting because the relevant timing is now to ask this question. When I see things like this, and I'm sure you're the same, and I'm sure everybody listening to this show is the same, when I hear of, not necessarily the fact that it's homophobic tweets, but when I hear of controversial comments or controversial tweets that people put out there, the first thing I do is go to Google and try and find said tweets, comment, whatever it was. And I couldn't find what Kevin Hart said. Are you aware of what was tweeted back in the day, Lewis?
Let me see.
What created this controversy is what I'm trying to get to.
I do. I am actually aware. I just don't remember because it's been so sort of beaten into the ground. Alex, can you find the actual?
Was it something to do with the fact that I hope my son isn't gay or something like that? Was it something like that?
That was the stand-up bit. The stand-up bit, he talked about how, if his son was gay, how he'd be upset, which is kind of funny because in my special that I just filmed, I have a joke where I talk about how I know I would care if my son was gay. Because and the joke goes,
how would you care? I mean, listen, so obviously in my life, I have children and we talk about this. I mean, ultimately, I love my son and I'd be, nothing will change that unconditional love as a father,
something would change. I'll tell you right now, his opponents would be a lot less willing to wrestle with him.
Oh, you're talking about Callum?
Yeah, if Callum, he would just wear a pink singlet.
I don't know why. And no offense, Lucas. I immediately went to Lucas with the gay thought. I thought Callum's not gay. If any one of them is gay, it's Lucas. I don't know why I did that. So my apologies, Lucas.
No, it's gonna be fucking.
I'm sure Kevin was just joking. Ultimately, you're not gonna. What kind of moron do you have to be in this age to take that stance? Or I'm disowning my son because he's gay.
In my joke, what I say is I know I would care because my dog started humping another male dog because he had his balls as well. So somebody called him gay, and it hurt me. Like it really hurt my feelings that he called my dog gay. So that's how I know I would care if my son was gay. So it's a silly joke, but it's also a little piece of being honest. Like a guy can be honest and go, "Oh yeah, it would actually bother me a little bit." It's a well. Don't you want people to be honest, though? Don't you want, like, every opinion to be represented? There's nothing hateful about that. And Kevin Hart's tweet said, if my son comes home and tries to play with my daughter's dollhouse, I'm going to break it over his head and say, wait, hold on. This is the tweet. If my son comes home and tries to play with my daughter's dollhouse, I'm going to break it over his head and say, in my voice, stop, that's gay. It's not a very funny tweet.
First of all, that happened in my house, and I did the same thing, and I whipped him. I whipped him with a fucking belt, and I sent him to bed, okay? I don't see what all the controversy is. I'm joking, of course, for all you SJWs out there. I think it's fair. I mean, as a non-gay person, I'm not homophobic in the slightest at all. I'm really not. But I think I would prefer a conventional relationship where they would have children and things like that. That doesn't mean that I would have any kind of judgment or negativity towards it. But it's a tricky one. You're going to tread carefully. But everybody knows what I'm trying to fucking say.
I know the type of father you are, okay? And you know the type of father that I am. It's actually one of the things that, I pride myself in being a really good father. And here's the reality. If my son was gay, it would bother my pride and my own weird ego and the way that I was raised, which was like, that was like a taboo thing. Being in the closet was that term was like, but at the same time, I'm obsessed with my son. I love my son with all my heart. There's not one, a fraction of a percent that would change that and the way that I love him and the way that I look at him, the way that I would accept him. But if you're being honest, you can still say, hey, look, it would still bother my ego a little bit that my son isn't doing the same way I talked about last week, how my son isn't circumcised and I am, how it sort of bothered my ego a little bit that he doesn't look like me. It's an immature thought, but you want to be able to be honest. And why are they trying to kill honesty in comedy of all things?
No, absolutely, and I've seen all the debates and the topics and people saying stuff like this is killing comedy, which I kind of agree with, because these days the reality is you do have to be very careful in what you say. Even the very, very light-hearted conversation we just had, right, could be taken out of context and misconstrued and put all over these websites, and we sound like bigots and homophobes, which isn't the case at all. We're very progressive, forward-thinking people. Regarding Kevin Hart, though, I do admire his stance, because he said, I'm not apologizing again. He apologized at the time, and I think he sent out a tweet apologizing or something.
Yeah, he apologized
and then he said, listen,
again.
I've done it now.
He went on Ellen and apologized, and he said, he was like, look, what happens is it becomes a volley over and over again, and you just go back and forth, and he's like, at what point does this stop? Go read the tweet. Go read my apology. You already have it. So I completely respect where he's coming from.
No, 100%, because, and I did see this snippet of the Strahan interview where he said, if he does that again, he's fueling it. He's pouring gas on the flame. You know what I mean? He's pouring petrol on the fire. He's just making this a bigger thing. It keeps it ongoing. It's an ongoing discussion. It gives more press outlets, news, magazines, more fuel, ammunition to discuss this. And he's totally right. It makes it a bigger thing. And I said to my wife, I said to Rebecca, I said, if I was Kevin Hart and they asked me to present host the Oscars after all this, I'd tell them to go fuck themselves. 100%, because he doesn't need it. I mean, the guy's a superstar, very, very wealthy, very, very funny, successful career, super successful career, ridiculously successful. He doesn't need to host the Oscars. And after all this controversy and then bringing this to the limelight, I'd say go fuck yourself. Stick your Oscars up your ass.
And then I read that the Oscars pays like $15,000 to host. It's like crazy.
No.
I swear to God. Fact check that, Harrington. I read that it pays something like $15,000 to host. It's like you're just doing it for like the bragging rights.
The prestige.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure a lot of people do watch it, which is bizarre. I really don't understand. I mean, what a lot of, go on. What is the number?
Kimmel made.
Give Harrington's mic some juice, Alex, please.
15K.
Jeez, it is 15K, yeah.
15K. I don't hear you guys. I don't hear you.
Sorry. There we go. We're back.
There we go. We're back. Where is Shannon? No offense, Alex. Yeah. So, I mean, 15K isn't a lot of money at all. I mean, to some people it's a fortune, but to somebody like Kevin Hart or a celebrity of that stature, 15,000 isn't a lot of money. Certainly when you combine it with the amount of negativity that he's had. So I'm not surprised he said, you know what, stick that up your backside. I'm not interested.
Yeah, and it's so funny because why would you do it? Like, yeah, it is sort of like the honor to do it, and but it's almost like I remember we were doing the radio show. People they have no idea how little SiriusXM pays. I don't want to shut down SiriusXM, but it's so little money.
Yeah, let's shit on SiriusXM.
No,
it's so little money. No, I know, I'm joking. It's so little money that I was embarrassed. The negotiations that were taking place, I was embarrassed to even have the conversation. I was like, I honestly don't give a fuck. I parted ways with Sirius over $25. I was like, listen, just give me an extra 100 per show. And he said 50. I said, come on, just call it 100. And then he said 75. So we were arguing over $25, the cost of a goddamn pizza.
It's crazy.
I'm like, you know what?
And it's such a big corporation, and they take away every little bit of passion. Like we do the show. We enjoy doing it, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to fucking who gives a shit, right? But yes, we make substantially more money off the podcast than we ever made off of SiriusXM. But at the same time, if they were to sort of give us some sense of ownership over it, we would have really wanted that show to grow. But yeah, they're very
for sure. But they had no incentives. I'm not sure how we got onto shitting on Sirius, but it's always good. It's always good. I'll do that anytime. I'll tell you what I did. I was back in the gym today, and when I say gym, I don't mean buys and tries, chest and back type gym, weightlifting gym. I mean, I was down at the Ruka Sport Training Center at Costa Mesa, first time for a while.
It's a comeback.
That's what everybody says. I put a thing on Instagram today, and everybody always says, "Oh, he's coming back. He's coming back for one more." No, unfortunately, I am not. I would love to. I've definitely still got it. I did 5-minute rounds of sparring, a few rounds of jiu-jitsu, a few rounds on the bag. Still got it, kids. Still got it. But no, that is not the reason. It's just nice to go down there now and again, see the boys, get involved with the guys, have a move around, have a workout. You know what I mean? I enjoy it. I tell you what I don't miss, and this is what I'm suffering with right now, the fucking little cuts all over my feet and my knees and my toes. You kind of get used to them when you're training for an MMA fight or you're in the gym and you're on the canvas in bare feet and you're moving around, you're kicking and things like that. You just take off little tiny bits of skin on the knuckles, on your toes, on your knees, things like that. And then when you get in the shower afterwards,
you feel it.
It's weird. We'll get punched in the face, but a little tiny scratch on the toes stings like a motherfucker.
Yeah. I always notice that every time I shave my head, right before I get into after I shave my head and get into the shower, all the little nicks and all the little things starts to burn a little bit. It fucking blows. Yeah, but
I'll be honest though. For me, you're talking about a comeback. I said, no, it's not a comeback. For me, it was more about I want to make sure that when you guys film me next weekend, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking tap these motherfuckers out all over the place in a variety of ways. And I thought, I'll just get myself ready. I'll get myself primed. I'll blow off the cobwebs, so to speak, Lewis.
So you're admitting that you look at me and you see me as being such a physically imposing individual that you're like, you better get yourself back in the gym. You don't want to just come in there rusty. Who knows what's going to happen?
All right, guys, today's show is brought to you by none other than Victory Barber. Victory Barber is truly a classic grooming line created for men by internationally renowned barber Matty Conrad. Every product is made with quality ingredients and award-winning fragrances to create a line that stands out from the pack in both performance and presence. Victory Barber and brand has created a compact and comprehensive styling range for any man to create versatile styling regardless of the hair type. I mean, Lewis, you only got to take one look at me to say, wow, this guy's hair is amazing. He uses top-of-the-line products. I mean, my hair has been called a work of art, and that is only since I've been using Victory Barber products. Claymore is a beeswax-based super clay that never finishes oily and creates aggressive texture in the hair. It works incredibly well in both thick and fine hair. Lewis, you have extremely fine hair. In fact, you are bald, so this doesn't appeal to you, okay? Your hair is far too fine for this commercial. Listen, let me just say this.
I feel like you're mocking me with this fucking advertisement. The whole thing is just like, hey, guys, look how great my hair is. Imagine you had hair like this. I'm literally in tears over here.
Yeah, well, my hair, if you could smell it through the screen, it smells like clean laundry, okay? Super Dry helps you create that effortlessly disheveled, dry-looking hair that will make James Dean jealous, for crying out loud. It would make anybody jealous.
The porn star?
I don't know about the porn stars, Lewis. I don't watch that kind of garbage. But let me tell you, its remarkable oil-free formula creates weightless texture in the hair, making it perfect for grooming fine hair into place without making it look thinner. Its woodsy scent is both fresh-smelling and intoxicating. So if you want to get involved, if you want to look good, if you want to up your men fragrance grooming regime, honestly, all jokes aside and all insults on Luis J. Gomez aside, I truly do recommend this product. It's awesome. Check it out. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. All products are made inside the USA. All formulas are cruelty and paraben free. Of course, we have a deal for you. Go to victorybarber.com. Use the promo code BYM15 and you will get 15% off the order. victorybarber.com, promo code BYM15, 15% off. There it is for the taking. Get involved.